Hey everyone, and welcome back to Travel Tip Tuesday with the Travel Mug Podcast. How are you today, Megan?
I'm lovely. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I am good. So, as usual, I was browsing my favorite travel Facebook groups and I noticed a lot of questions around passports and when to renew them. So, I thought to myself, this would be a good Travel Tip Tuesday episode.
Well, timely.
I know. So, when should you renew your passport? First of all, we need to consider the expiry date of your old passport if you have one. So, many countries require your passport to be valid for up to 6 months after your arrival date or your departure date. It depends on the country. There's no standard. So, this rule exists to avoid having tourists getting stuck in their country if their passports expire and they have to wait for an emergency travel document and blah blah blah. So that's why it exists. I personally think 6 months is like a long time, but anywho, that's not why
I don't think it's going to be long once you give some of these time frames here.
Yeah. So, I mean, just based on that, a 10-year passport is good for 9 years and 6 months, right? It's annoying. So, the issue right now is that renewing your passport is taking a long time, at least here in Canada, but also in the US. So, I kind of looked into it just to see what was going on. So, officially, the Government of Canada website says turnaround time is 10 business days if you apply in person and 20 business days if you apply by mail, not including the mailing time. And Canada Post is not always fast. So there's that. So with urgent pickup, you can have it by the next business day. With express pickup, you can have it in 2 to 9 business days. And obviously, there are additional fees if you need to do that. And you have to have documentation proving that you need the passport urgently. So you need travel documents in order to prove that you need it quickly. The pickup thing is great if you live in a city, but for me who lives almost 2 hours away from the office, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So the US processing times, according to the Department of State, is 10 to 13 weeks for routine, 9 to 7 weeks for expedited. And then they also note that it may take up to 2 weeks for applications to arrive by mail at the passport agency and up to 2 weeks for you to receive it after they've completed it and sent it to you. So that's another 4 weeks on top of the processing time of potentially 13 weeks.
Our U.S. pals better be thinking ahead.
Well, the group that I'm in is a large portion, I think, of American people. And they're kind of like, oh my God, I applied a really long time ago and I still don't have it. And my trip's coming up and yikes. So and then so I looked up Australia because Canada, US, and Australia are our top countries, but we love all of you equally, I promise. Australia notes that you should allow 6 weeks to receive your new passport. So that's not as bad, I guess.
I guess it's still long. It still takes some forethought.
Yeah. So all in all, it is taking a while. No matter where you are, more people have been applying for passports in the last couple of years since travel opened back up again. So I think that's kind of why that might be going on. So if your passport is expiring in the next year or so, I would start the renewal process sooner rather than later, especially if you have set in stone travel plans. Megan, had you heard about these delays or long waits for passports?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I certainly haven't heard about it here in Canada as much, so I did figure things were better. And honestly, from the sounds, that kind of sounds back to normal-ish in terms of our time frames. I'm not sure what historically it's been for the US. That seems a little long to me. But I know here it's definitely gotten better. Luckily, I do live close to the office. I probably would, even though going downtown doesn't sound fun either. But I definitely probably do the in-person thing. But I remember hearing a year plus ago, the lines were crazy. People were waiting a long time. But it seems like things have improved.
Yeah, for sure. So my passport doesn't expire until September 2025, but I am already keeping it in the back of my mind to renew probably the end of 2024 because if we want to travel in spring 2025, my passport needs to be valid for 6 months. So if we want to travel before March,
Yep.
or after March, I guess. But if we want to travel, I got to make sure that it's valid. And I mean, that's
Mhm.
a pain in the butt. Like it's basically a whole year or at least 9 months in advance that you need to be thinking about this. So
Yeah, definitely.
that is all we have for this week. I want to know if you have had a long wait for a passport, or if you're currently waiting and it's been a long time, let us know. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Travel Mug Podcast. We're also on our website, travelmugpodcast.com. And share the show with a travel loving pal so they know when to renew their pass.
I mean, save somebody some grief.
Seriously. We'll chat with you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.